like that. Woo!
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B. Just before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Twitter, TikTok, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos, hit that notification bell, buy the subscribe button. Let's get it popping. All right, y'all know the drill. Before y'all enter this house, wipe your feet. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button on the YouTube page or the Facebook page or Twitter, whatever may have. You know what I'm saying? Go to the comment sections. Let me know that you're here. And, you know, like I say, man, I always enjoy having basketball minds into, these type of things and these type of talks, man. It's the NBA playoffs. So this is the best time of the year next to Christmas for me. And it's just been so many great things that happen this playoffs, man. Like, all the moments and all the disappointments, the heartbreaks, the celebration, the excitement. This is what NBA playoff basketball is all about, man. And I'm pretty sure all of us on this panel can agree on that. But as we, edge to the end of the conference finals on the Eastern and the Western Conference, we're about to head to the NBA Finals. There's a topic that I've been kind of, pondering about that I've been waiting to talk about, the last few days. I've already told the subscribers and all my followers and people who support the channel, Pull Up Basketball Podcast, I was going to do it. And it was coming. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely coming for us to have this discussion. My man, Soccer Updates, what's good, man? Salute. Um, it was bound to happen that this was going to be a topic of discussion at any point, at some point, and here we are. So we're gonna get right into it, man. Um, Luka Doncic, man. Let's talk about the Slovenian Slayer. Like I like to call him, the Slovenian Slayer. Offensively, man, what can I say, man? He's one of the best offensive players in the NBA right now. There's no question about it. Being 6'6", 6'8", or 6'7", 6'8", being over 230, over 230 pounds, over easy, able to use his body, able to play magnificent defense, um, and just being, I'm sorry, magnificent offense. I don't know what I'll say, magnificent defense. Magnificent offense, being able to control the pace of the game, shoot, get to the basket. A guy who's not afraid of the moment, has been shown he's a gamer, and, he's built for big moments like the playoffs. There's questions pondering, is Luka Doncic a superstar? Everybody come and hit that like button, y'all. My man, Chad said this, he has potential, but he needs to play D. He called him the Slovenian Harden. He has superstar potential and had definitely will be a superstar. He's not superstar as we speak now. So we got some comments right now. I'm gonna get into all that, y'all. But let's talk a little bit about Luka Doncic right now. Is he a superstar? Now, I feel like superstar number one is an elite company. Being a superstar is something that you have to take great care of. It's something that you have to really dissect fully before you put people into that category. It's a category that's very, very sacred. Now, if we look at the criteria of a superstar, first of all, there's no set criteria. So I want to make that very clear. There's no set actual criteria of what an NBA superstar is, right? It's based off of your own criteria, your logic, your experience of the game, and what defines a superstar to you. Some people have different things for being a superstar, different categories, different requirements, and they may, play point to one person, but it may not play point to the other person. So when it comes to this subject, I have my own criteria. You all see the word criteria right there. Basically, the requirements to be in the superstar club, right? We're gonna get to the nitty gritty, everything to the tenth, about this subject, man, because I don't want to leave nothing out, right? I want to keep everything in this proper context, right? So there's some very specific things that need to go down to be a NBA superstar, and we're gonna go through the list. First off, you must be box office. You must be box office. My man Dejan Mercy, what's up, man? Salute. You must be box office, meaning what? You have to be a person that sells tickets, that brings people to the games, that can sell out arenas, sell out crowds. People come to watch you play because at the end of the day, basketball is a sport, but it's a business. It's a business. Whether we like it or not, it's based off of money, economic resources, television production, fan base, everything. This goes into one. It must be conducive for everybody. It has to continue to generate money for the sport to continue to go on and on. Don't just think NBA basketball just out there, you just dribbling the ball and it's, for excitement, entertainment. That's part of it. But in order for the NBA to continuously go, they have to create money. They have to be able to have money for the television productions, for the fan bases, and everything like that. Everything must keep going. And the way people continue basketball is through the fans for the most part. The way you guys to pay the NBA salaries is through the fans that come watch these players play. So that's a big key. If you're a superstar, again, superstar, that means you can sell tickets. That means you can sell out arenas. That means people come to watch you perform and do your job. Is Luka Doncic that type of player? Absolutely. Luka Doncic, people come to watch Luka Doncic play, right? People come to watch Luka Doncic drop 30 or 40 points on you, on your head, or your teammate, your favorite team's head. So he's definitely in that class. So he checks off that. Number two, you must be a number one option on a championship team. Okay, that's where it gets a little bit tricky for Luka Doncic because it's based off of what you believe. Do you believe Luka Doncic can be a number one option on a championship team? Right? You must be number one option on the championship team. Is Luka Doncic in that category? Can you look and say, can Luka Doncic lead your team to a championship as the number one guy? Can you really put that into context and saying Luka Doncic can lead the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA championship and win it all as that guy, the cornerstone of that franchise? We already know that he's going to be locked in for them for the next, upteenth year, at least the next 3 to 4 years, unless he chooses to leave. So that remains to be seen, but it's all in your mind. Do you believe he can do that? But superstars have to be able to lead their team to a championship. It must be the number one option. That's a superstar. All right. Number three, playoff success, multiple seasons. Okay, this is very important. I want people to really pay attention to this one because this is what I talk about when we talk about players who getting into the club who haven't been there long enough. Certain guys have not had enough success for enough period of time to be in that elite group. Again, I take the superstar elite group very seriously. I don't just put anybody into that group. That's a sacred category. There's a lot of stars. There's a lot of all-stars, a lot of rising stars, but there are very, very few superstars, very few cream of the crop. This is a big requirement to be a superstar. You must have playoff success for multiple seasons. Understand something, ladies and gentlemen. Your superstar label doesn't come in the season, it comes in the playoffs. And that X's out a lot of people for that simple reason. You don't become a superstar in the season, you become a superstar in the playoffs. Right? And if we look at Luka Doncic's playoff success, he's been in the league for, I believe, 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. He's been to the playoffs 3 years of his career, starting with the bubble. They faced the Clippers 2 years in a row. They lost, but Luka did put up big numbers in both meetings against the Clippers. They lost in 6 in the first year in the bubble. The second year, they lost in 7 last year, and then they're in the playoffs right now. So when I talk about playoff success, multiple seasons, getting knocked out in the first round is not having playoff success. That means you're still learning how to grow. That means you're still trying to figure out things. That means you have not reached that level yet where you're going to take your team to at least the conference finals year in, year out, which is understandable because Luka, again, he's still young. He's only 23. So you can have a great season. You can lead your team to a top 4 seed in the West. But until you show it in the playoffs, you're not considered a superstar in my eyes. It may be in other people's eyes you are, but not in my eyes. Because again, you learn that in the playoffs, right? So with that one, Luka Doncic doesn't check that box off. Now we'll see what happens the rest of this series against the Golden State Warriors, because he did show me something in that Phoenix series, which has kind of upped his tier, but he hasn't had done this multiple seasons, which means like at least twice. Okay, now this is the big one right here, and I don't think people really have caught this one, but this is a requirement for me. You must have at least a championship or finals appearance and or an MVP or a finals MVP. Let me say that again. Very important. You must have at least a championship or a finals appearance and an MVP or a finals MVP. Okay, keep hitting that like button, y'all. Keep hitting that like button and get the notifications out there. You must have one of these two of these four. Because again, playoffs, that's where you make your name. Okay? You don't have to have both an MVP and a finals MVP, but you need to have at least one of those two. And you don't have to have a championship, or you don't have to have a championship, but you need to have at least a championship or a finals appearance. Right? Because we're talking about the cream of the crop. I'm telling you, I'm very, very particular is where I put my superstars. And when I show y'all my superstars, it's a very select group. Okay? So has Luka Doncic done any of these things? Has he gotten the championship? Has he been to the finals yet? Has he gotten an MVP? Has he got a finals MVP? No, he has not. X, 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 X. And I'm just being honest about it. Now, where do I put Luka Doncic right now? Luka Doncic is in that tier with the Jason Tatums, the Trey Youngs, the Donovan Mitchells, the Devin Bookers, those guys who are the rising stars from like ages 22 to about 25. Those guys, those are the rising stars. Now, Luka Doncic to me is better than all those guys. Well, actually, no, with him and Jason Tatum is close, but he has had success more than those other guys. But again, it takes more than just having one playoff run. It's constant success. So that's where Luka falls from. He's the rising stars. He's not a superstar yet. Now, can he get there? That's remains to be seen. My guy plays with Keep. What's up? He said, "What up?" And he said, "Cooking early. Yeah, man, we got to talk about this. Definitely got to talk about this, man." Um, but yeah, he's a rising star. He's not a superstar yet. Okay, so what does Luka Doncic have to do to be considered a superstar? One second. What does he have to do other than what I just said in the criteria? And I think what he needs to do this upcoming summer. Number one, Luka Doncic has to get in shape. Luka Doncic needs to get in better basketball shape. I can just tell by looking at him. He doesn't really like to work out, hit the gym, I'm talking about hit the weight room, do conditioning, do plyometrics, run the track, lift weights. He don't like to do any of that. He just gets in shape by playing basketball and pickup runs. That's how he gets in shape. From what I understand in his diet and reports, he has a very poor diet. And that's just what's being reported. He likes to eat a lot of unhealthy foods. And we all know that when you're a basketball player, your body is your money maker. And when you put in all that stuff in your body, at some point, it's going to really backfire on you. Now, he's getting away with it because he's 23 years old. But when he gets to about 27, 28, he's going to start feeling the effects of it. He's starting to look a lot like, in my opinion, if he doesn't watch out, he's going to look like James Harden. You know what I'm saying? People saying he was compared to LeBron James. He has nothing to me. He does similar to LeBron James. LeBron takes care of his body. LeBron is a physical specimen. LeBron takes his eating habits very seriously. Luka comes off to me as somebody who gets in shape by playing pickup. He does not like to, work out. He's not a workout warrior. He has a very high IQ, very, blessed with a very high IQ in basketball, and he just gets by with his natural ability. Right? He doesn't lift weights, but he is naturally strong. Now, why I say he needs to get in shape is because if he gets in shape, then he'll be able to impact the game a lot more in different ways. Number one, he'll be able to play better defense. He'll be able to play both ways of the ball. And y'all know how I feel about two-way players. Two-way players to me are the best players in the NBA. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that affect the game fully. And Luka Doncic only affecting the game one way of the one side of the ball. I can't put him in certain people's classes because you're not affecting the game entirely. You're affecting it only on scoring. Gengar said Jokic a superstar. I'm gonna get into the superstars after I talk about Luka, man. I'm gonna name my criteria of who the superstars are. Right? He said you got to have a chip to be a superstar. No, what I'm saying, Dejan, is that you got to at least have a finals appearance and an MVP or finals MVP. You don't have to have a chip, but you need to at least go to the finals at least one time. Again, it's about can you lead your team to a championship as the number one option. You can't be a superstar getting knocked out early in the playoffs. Okay, so that's a requirement on my list. You got to at least go to the finals. Now, what I said, he needs to get in better shape. He also, what he needs to do is, this is me personally, and I hate to say this because I'm not a fan of this dude anymore, but he needs to take the summer and watch film of James Harden in Houston. Okay? His playing style is just like James Harden was in Houston. Very ball dominant, very ball centric, does not like to play defense, uses his energy to score and assist the ball, controls the offense at point guard. He over dribbles. Um, so his game is just like James Harden's. But the reason why I say he needs to watch film of James Harden is because there is one thing that James Harden does better than Luka Doncic, and I think he was a better player at that playing style, is he controls the offense. He controls the pace better than Luka Doncic. If y'all remember what Harden did in Houston, he was very good at knowing when to score and when to pass. He was very good at controlling the pace. Harden was very good at being a point guard. Y'all remember the famous quote what Kyrie Irving said in Brooklyn. He told James Harden that you're the point guard and I'm the shooting guard. James Harden, when he was motivated to play after he left Houston, he was an MVP candidate when he got to Brooklyn. So I noticed throughout the years that Harden is a better point guard than Luka Doncic. He controls the pace better. What I figured out with Luka is, yes, he has a very high IQ when it comes to, all the tricks and getting fouls and stuff like that, but he's not there yet when it comes to having flow of the game, right? Getting the ball off the court rather than dribbling the air out of it in half court offense, right? Knowing when to attack. Stop using that crab dribble so much, over dribbling, isolating your teammates out where they have to rush to shoot a shot. Also, his foot speed, his foot quickness is not like Harden's was. Harden can get past you literally with a setup move, and then he can just go when he was in Houston. Luka Doncic, he doesn't have that burst of speed like Harden did. So he needs to work on his plyometrics, he needs to work on his foot speed over this summer, man. He has the size to, beat defenders, but he doesn't have the quickness to beat certain defenders, and he's also just icing his teammates out, right? Soccer Update said that Iguodala is a superstar because he made it to the finals as one finals MVP. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. What I said is you need to be the number one option on a championship team. We're not finna do this. Nobody's putting Iguodala in that class. What I said, you have to still be the number one option on a championship team. You have to check all those boxes, man. You can't. I'm not just talking about one box. You got to check all those boxes. Iguodala is not a championship player on a championship team, not the first option. So, I mean, nah, we ain't gonna play that game. Stockton isn't a superstar then. Uh, I wouldn't say Stockton isn't a superstar. Um, Definitely a Hall of Famer. But like I said again, my class with superstars is very, very, very elite. But let me go into my superstars so we can kind of get an understanding. These are my five superstars. When you talk about the playoffs, successes, the championships, the MVP or Finals MVPs, the multiple playoff success seasons, being box office, these are the only five players in the league that have that. Here's the list. Here we go. Kawhi Leonard. Okay, Kawhi Leonard is a superstar. No matter how many people want to try to take his superstar card away, Kawhi has proven he can lead his team to a championship. He has won a Finals MVP. He has had multiple successful seasons in the playoffs. The only times he didn't even when he didn't play when he was hurt, but when he did play in 2017, he made it to the conference finals with the Spurs. Had he not gotten hurt, they could have beat the Warriors. 2019, he comes back and wins them a championship in Toronto. 2020, they lost in the second round. Last year, they were on the verge of going to the conference finals with him. Had he not gotten hurt, they probably would have won the whole thing. So he's been proven Kawhi is a superstar. If there's anybody that doubts that, go and put in the comments right now. But Kawhi Leonard is a proven superstar. No matter what you say about how he gotten hurt or whatever, he's already solidified. Number two, the babyface assassin, Steph Curry. Look, this dude is still. This dude has been to 6 finals in the last 10 years. He won a championship with the We Believe team as the number one option. He's possibly gonna win a championship this year as the number one option. There was a lot of talk about if Steph Curry can lead his team to a championship. Well, we're seeing it right now. Right, two MVPs, multiple playoff successful seasons. Only thing he's missing is a Finals MVP. Which, if they get to the Finals and win it, I'm very, very confident saying that he will get that Finals MVP, and he will crack my top 10 of all time if he does both of that. Number three, and I know people ain't gonna like this one, but Kevin Durant. Regardless of what you want to say about Kevin Durant, what he did this year, how he flamed out against Jason Tatum in the worst way possible, Kevin Durant was the best player looked upon last season. Um, you know, actually in the NBA. He has a long enough resume and a long enough history where he's still playing at a high level where he's proven he can be the number one option on a championship team. When he's with Golden State, make no mistake about it, he was the best player on the Golden State Warriors. He won the 2 Finals MVPs. They went out and got Kevin Durant to nullify LeBron James. Understand something. If Kevin Durant does not go to the Golden State Warriors, and I want y'all to listen to me very carefully, if KD does not go to the Warriors in 17 and 18, they do not beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Why is that? It's because LeBron had a psychological hold on the Warriors. They had no one to answer for LeBron. When you give up a 3-1 lead like that, it demoralizes your team. Well, when you go into the next year with those same demons in your head. So they had to go out and they went out and got Kevin Durant, somebody that can nullify LeBron, and Cleveland didn't have an answer for him. When they added Kevin Durant to that team, it made him pretty much unbeatable. Right? So KD, his resume with the MVP, with the 2 Finals MVP, with the multiple playoff success outside of this year, going to the conference finals countless years of times, he's solidified. All right. Now, this one's a little bit strange, even though they didn't make the playoffs this season. LeBron James is still a NBA superstar. Shout out to my boy Showtime. My man Showtime. We just cooking up in here, bro. Salute. Dejan Marcus said KD never was a two-way player. He was a two-way player in Golden State. When he got to Golden State, he became a two-way player. I agree right now he's not, but he was in Golden State. KD is definitely a superstar. He was literally trying to carry those Nets this year. Yeah. And people make fun of that. Like, people don't remember when KD has the Nets to the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference when Kyrie was going through what he was going through, and they had a pretty much depleted roster. So much dysfunction is in Brooklyn to the point where you have to give KD credit for being able to hold it down. So again, let me go back to the point. LeBron James is a superstar, man. Listen, I know LeBron has that bad playoff performance the last couple of years, but let's make something very clear. From 2010 to 2020, LeBron James has been the best player in that decade. I mean, his resume arguably is going to be the best resume of all time. He's still box office. He still sells tickets. The MVPs are there. The Finals MVPs are there. The championships are there, along with the championship losses. But the whole resume is there, man. I mean, we don't need to really talk about LeBron James now. If you want to say LeBron James is on his downhill, he's not like the player he was as far as dominance. That's fair to say. But as far as a superstar, I mean, this guy shouldn't even be a question. He's definitely a superstar, right? And of course, we got the Greek Freak. Now, it's funny. It's funny how 1 year can change a lot of things. Now, just last year in the playoffs, around this time before they faced the Brooklyn Nets, Giannis Antetokounmpo was actually looked at as being a secondary co-star. People had questions about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Could he lead his team to a championship? Did he have that alpha personality? There was reports that he could join LeBron. That's what the reports were saying, because they didn't believe that Giannis was a number one option. But him winning that championship last year solidified all that talk, okay? Because Giannis had the two MVPs. He had the multiple runs to the playoffs, right? All he was missing was a championship and a Finals MVP, and he got that all last year. And he moved up to about the top 30 of all time. Now he's the best player in the NBA, right? So there's no question about Giannis Antetokounmpo anymore. So with that being said, those are the five superstars right here. Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So that leaves Luka Doncic. Where do I put him at? Again, I put him with those rising stars. The guy who's trying to get on that level. The guy who is having success or starting to learn how to have success, but has not accomplished nowhere near the guys who I just put on that screen. And there's some other guys I can put on here as well, but we're going to leave that for another video. Understand, people, the superstar title is not coming in one season. It comes with multiple years of success and work and accomplishments. I think we got to stop putting this superstar label and like throwing away like a frisbee that anybody can be a superstar. Right? All right, let me go through some of these comments. My man DMS like D said Luka's a bubble superstar. Not there yet. He's like behind Jokic, Embiid, Harden, etc. I wouldn't put him that far. I mean, I think he's definitely top 10. But again, like even with Jokic, Embiid, and Harden, those guys aren't superstars. And you know, just for the simple fact I named earlier, Jokic, again, you get knocked out twice in the first round like how you did. I mean, you're not making no noise in the playoffs. Embiid, he has the potential, but he keeps getting knocked out in the second round. But a lot of that has to do with him, his co-stars not showing up for him either. So you gotta kind of give him some, you know, some context. Like Embiid's, his co-stars don't show up. Ben Simmons, what he did, and then you got James Harden, what he did this year. Like his co-stars doesn't show up. That's why, you know, Embiid's having these playoff flameouts, because he usually shows up. It's just, again, he's not having the success in the playoffs. But again, that's what you got to do when you want to be a superstar. You got to be able to take your team, you know, to the finals. James Harden has fell off, so we'll see what happens to him. Dejan Mercy has said Kawhi is too injury prone, in my opinion. He's a liability to his team at times. Bruh, that, I mean, so are we saying that Kawhi is not a superstar? I just want to be clear. I just want to be clear. Are we saying Kawhi Leonard is not a superstar? Because it's too injury prone thing, man. And I'm gonna make a video on that too. Um, what what does it mean to be injury prone? I mean, he's been hurt twice in his career with two major injuries. I mean, what is that? What does being injury prone mean? Yeah, guys from 6 to 10 are superstars. Yep. Play for keeps said that's a top. Yeah, bro. I appreciate you, dog. Yeah. Those are my five superstars, man. So for sure. Chad said Luka's 23 by 26. He could own the league if he wants to put in the effort and work to get in two-way shape and learn together. Yeah, that's the only thing about Luka, man. That's why I say he's at a good point in his position. Like all you have to do is get in shape. All you have to do is be able to play both sides of the ball. And if I'm Luka Doncic, I should try to at least get to that level. Right? I shouldn't want to be just be a good offensive player on one side. You know what I mean? I can't. I just don't feel like that's a complete basketball player to me. That's not the best player in the world. He has offensive talent. He can score like at will. But the dude comes in 40, 50 pounds out of shape last year in training camp, man. You know, he came out of shape the year before that. It's like, man, it's obviously you have a you have a discipline problem, right? AD played more games than Kawhi. Man, again, that don't mean that again because you had two major injuries. That don't make you a liability. Or that don't make you an injury prone player. Klay Thompson missed more time than Kawhi and Anthony Davis these last 2 years. Does that make Klay Thompson injury prone, or is it that he had two major injuries with his Achilles and his ACL, and that's why he missed time? So you can't say, oh, Kawhi missed more time than AD. That's a problem. He had an injury. He had two major injuries. Like what you want him to do? But Klay Thompson, he missed damn near 3 years. If we use that argument with him, the Golden State Warriors would get rid of him. But they're not going to do that because Klay Thompson, what he's done. So yeah, I mean, I agree with that, man. But again, like these teams don't have a problem with Kawhi Leonard, so I don't know what to do. I don't know why people keep saying the best ability is availability. That's facts, but it's not going to keep Kawhi Leonard from still, being who he is. So, but yeah, man, those are my five superstars, man. Those are the guys that, to me, move the needle. We'll see what happens the rest of this series, um, because my thing is, let's say that Luka Doncic loses this series and comes back next year, and they go out even sooner in the playoffs, or he doesn't follow up with what he did this year, because that can happen. Look at Trae Young. Trae Young, he got to the conference finals last year, man. Ice Trae. People were talking about Ice Trae being a top ten player. That's how crazy one playoff run can take you. But now you look at him this year, he can't even make it past the first round. Now people ain't even bringing up Ice Trae like that. But now I see Luka in the same situation. Luka Doncic is a superstar. Luka Doncic is this, that, and the other. But next year can really go south if he don't get to back to the place that he got to this year, which is very possible because the West is gonna be much harder next year because everybody's coming back healthy. The Clippers are gonna be 100% healthy. The Nuggets gonna be healthy again. The Warriors ain't going nowhere. Um, of course, Portland's gonna be back, even though I'm not worried about Portland because I mean we'll see what happens if they can get any additions. But I'm not big on the Lakers, but I mean let's see what they'll do. The Pelicans are going to be back. The Grizzlies are going to be like. It's so many talented teams in the West. There's no guarantee that the Mavericks are going to make it back. So then what? Are we going to just start forgetting about Luka Doncic because he doesn't make it back to the conference finals? That's why I say this is a year by year thing. Like you got to continuously do this year by year. You know what I mean? My man Amir Ahmad, you subscribe to the channel, right, bro? That's my man right there, Amir. He said Dejan Howard barely played the three last season until his recent injury in the playoffs. He played 3 years. That's what I'm saying, man. They're trying to pile up stuff to make Kawhi more injury prone than he actually really is. Right? So I'm not again, we know who Kawhi is, man. He's already solidified. El Jefe, in the last 3 years, Kawhi has played 169 games, AD has played 138. See, that's saying something. I don't know the exact numbers, but if that's true, that's saying something about Anthony Davis because at least Kawhi has an excuse to be hurt because he suffered two major injuries. AD, if he's played less time than Kawhi Leonard, he has not even missed a full season. That makes AD look even worse because what that's telling you is that AD is taking out time here and there, like after knick-knack injury after knick-knack injury. So that makes Anthony Davis look even worse. That you played 138 games to a guy, 269 games to a guy who's been out with two major injuries. That means that you can't stay on the court. So my thing is again, like if we're just gonna be honest, man, Luka Doncic is not on that tier. That he's not on that top tier of superstars yet. He can get there, but he's just not there right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut the live down right now, man. I'm gonna be back on here um, to discuss, after the game between the Warriors and the Mavs. I got the Warriors sweeping them tonight. Um, I appreciate y'all coming on, but I gotta get up out of here. And yeah, man, all the love and respect to y'all. Pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull it out. Peace. I like swim well.